Hey yo, coming at you again. This is going to be my third video now. This one's going to be called Toxic People and Manipulation. It's going to be going along the lines of the control factor. As I said, there's a lot of things in control that you can take and break down in order to understand it better and to how control is taken over people. A lot of the information that I pulled is coming off of psychologytoday.com, and then it's also just experiences that I've dealt with personally as well. So we're just going to go ahead and get right into it. So red flags of toxicity. Okay, you feel like you're being manipulated into something you don't want to do. You're constantly confused by the person's behavior. You feel like you deserve an apology that never comes. You always have to defend yourself. You never feel fully comfortable around the person. And you continually feel bad about yourself around them. You never feel good enough. We've all had or currently have toxic people in our lives. Understandably, they may have been in our life for a while and became toxic over time. They may be a family member, a friend, a partner, a co-worker. They may have manipulated their way into making you think they were someone else. And we'll get into manipulation here shortly because it's going to go right along with, of course, toxic folks. If someone in your life is toxic, they're usually in denial about it, or could just simply not be aware that it is occurring, or they could be aware of it and are using it to their advantage. Usually they're extremely cutthroat, and they're the most dangerous type of toxic people. Now, what happens is they typically are damaged in some way and refuse to seek help for it because their ego simply won't allow them to. People that have been damaged from when they were a child, normally that's older people that you see, the baby boomers, your folks that are into their 50s or 60s, and they've been dealing with it their whole life. And those are some of those folks are set in their ways, so to speak, and they're not going to seek out help. Others are younger people, and they're just in denial that they even have those issues. That's not them, right? That they're not the issue. So in that case, there's a switch that flipped in their brain, and it's fooled them into a survival mode, and it's going solely based off of the ego. Oftentimes it happens to people that are exposed to traumas or stressful situations that they don't want to be in and are unable to get out of, and they have to turn into becoming something that they are not in order to survive the situation, right? In order to thrive in the situation, in order to be or stay in the situation. In which case that can turn into and cause other psychological disorders, such as bipolar or other personality disorders. One of the easiest examples to tell if a person is toxic is they try to turn you into a victim or damage you. How confident they are depends on how quickly they try to do this. Okay, it can happen when you first meet them. Or it could take them some time to kind of get you warmed up to them, right? Kind of get you emotionally hooked a little better before they really start working on you, so to speak. It happens in a lot of prospective partnerships. You meet them somewhere online or out. If you're out somewhere and you flirt, you exchange numbers, information, or whatever, and then you start talking. And one of the major red flags that you happen to begin seeing, if you are aware that it's occurring, is gaslighting. And examples of gaslighting include they tell you blatant lies. They deny they ever said something or did something, even though you have proof of it. They use what is near and dear to you as ammunition to hurt you. They'll use your kids. They'll use your self-worth, your value, how you actually are as a person, right? They wear you down over time. Their actions do not match their words. They throw in positive reinforcement to confuse you. They probably praised you for something that served them. They know confusion weakens people. They project. So, if their insecurities, or if they're in a bad mood, they project that onto you, bringing you into their negative energy, throwing you off bounds. They try to align people against you. They tell you or others that you are crazy. And they tell you everyone else is a liar. Now, there's a movie called Gaslight in which a man manipulates his wife into thinking she's losing her mind. Gaslighting is a slow form of brainwashing that makes a victim question their reality. The only way to stop that type of toxic person is to recognize it and essentially run the other way. Now, these people are never going to recognize that they have a problem. They are not. And the only time that they will is if everyone else around them comes to an agreement on what is really going on with the person, and there's some type of intervention. And that never typically occurs, especially nowadays, because everybody lives on social media. Everybody's willing to talk about their radical views and other radical ideals on social media, but when it comes down to face-to-face talk, nobody's able to talk about things. So whether it's a potential partner, a family member, a spouse, a coworker, oftentimes potential partners will wait until sex has occurred, because it strengthens the emotional bond and makes the victim easier to manipulate, right? You've already given a major physical and emotional part of yourself to that person. So it's going to keep you coming back for more. Doesn't matter how bad you're being treated, and oftentimes the worse you're treated, the more apt you are to go back to the situation, unless you recognize it. Other ways you can tell you're dealing with a toxic or manipulative person, and a lot of times this occurs in conjunction with gaslighting, and usually happens in the workplace. And they have home court advantage. They let you speak first to establish baseline and look for your weaknesses. They manipulate facts. They overwhelm you with facts. They overwhelm you with procedure and red tape, basically reinforcing the power that they hold over you. I can do this, but you cannot. If you do this, it could mean termination. Those kind of things. Raising their voice and displaying negative emotions. Negative surprises. Sudden extra workload. Giving you little or no time to decide. Hey, did you want to come in and work some extra hours this weekend? I need to know real quick because I got other people that may want to do it. Negative humor designed to poke at your weaknesses and disempower you. Oh, what's wrong? You can't lift that bucket? Not strong enough? Yeah, that's a man bucket. You know what I'm saying? Constantly judge and criticize you to make you feel inadequate. The silent treatment. The pretend ignorance that they don't know that something is occurring, right? The guilt baiting. Oh man, you did that now, that's not going to make me very happy. That's not making me very happy that you're doing that. You know, that kind of thing. The victimhood. Like I said, I took a lot of this from psychologytoday.com, and some of it came from the 14 signs of psychology and emotional manipulation. And there are 11 warning signs of gaslighting that I pulled from as well. And psychological manipulation can be defined as the exercise of undue influence through mental distortion and emotional exploitation with the intent to seize power, control, benefits, and or privileges at the victim's expense. So I just wanted to kind of get my notes out of the way, and I'll kind of go into into more of my feelings on this topic a little bit more. Now, folks, if you've got people out there that are per se on your Facebook, right? And they're your friends, right? Or they're your friends in general, period, whatever the case may be, or they're your potential mate, you know, you're in the phase of talking or whatever the case may be. Folks, a big way that you can tell if you're dealing with a toxic person is if they try to control the conversation through text message. They can never talk to you on the phone. They can never talk to you on FaceTime, and they can't meet up in person very often, but they can talk through text. But that's only when it makes sense for them. Meaning you'll get a message every 2 to 3 hours, 1 to 2 messages at a time, and things of that nature. Now, folks, everybody's not busy 100% of the time throughout the day. And I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with people having time to themselves. That's not what I'm saying at all. What I'm saying is if you have a friend, right, and they message you to strike up a conversation, and you try to have a back and forth conversation with them, and they choose to make you wait or make it look like they've got a busy life going on or whatever the case may be, well, more than likely that's a toxic person that is damaged, and they are using the same behavior that's being done to them onto you. You can try and mention it to them. You can try and let them know, hey, I don't really appreciate how you're treating me, but they're going to turn it around to you as you are the one that has the problem, when in fact, they are the one dealing with the issues and refuse to recognize it. Don't let those folks manipulate you into staying in that relationship or dealing with them, period. If you want to, and you want to try and be a friend and help them work through the situation, fine. But 9 times out of 10, you're going to be having a good day. They're going to see you post something nice on Facebook, and they're going to jump in just to poke at you. And then run out. And then when you ask them, hey, how you been? They ain't never going to answer you. Because their whole point was to throw you off your thunder, period. Because sometimes people just don't like to see you happy when they're having major issues themselves. So, you know, this is all based on the control factor. Toxicity, manipulation, right? So I encourage y'all to look into it, and I encourage y'all to not allow yourselves to be treated that way. Because when you allow yourselves to be treated that way and you take on the energy of that person, you end up looking for other people to do it too. If someone's giving you a bad time, someone's causing you a bad day, you'll turn around and you'll go, oh, hey, how are you? And then end up not answering. Oh, nope, I'm not going to answer them back. You know what I'm saying? So just be mindful of what people are actually doing to you and what you in turn are doing with the behavior that they're causing towards you. Because what goes around comes around, and if you take that energy on and you push it on to the next person, well, it's going to continue happening, and it's going to continue happening, and it's going to continue happening. And it's just going to go from person to person to person instead of just ceasing where it should, out of existence, because it's not necessary for society. You guys have any questions, let me know. I'm more than happy to answer them. I will have the link listed below in the description of the video if you guys want to look these things up for your reference. And psychologytoday.com is actually a really good reference for looking these kind of things up as well. So thank y'all for listening. Don't be a victim. Have a good day. God bless.